Good afternoon. Hamilton police have provided an update into their investigation of a deadly stabbing over the weekend.
21-year-old Zanin Roussel died after he was stabbed outside a bar in the city early Sunday morning. CP24 Steve Ryan has been following this investigation. He joins us live now from Hamilton with the latest. Steve.
Yeah, one person in custody, according to Hamilton police, and this started, Michelle, as you said, back on Sunday, August the 9th, 2:30 in the morning. A young man was located near Frid Street and Main Street. He had suffered an obvious stab wound. He was rushed to hospital where he succumbed to his injuries. What we learned from police today was that this now deceased was involved in an argument with the 26-year-old accused a short time earlier at a billiard hall. They went their separate ways. 10 minutes after, they happened to run into each other again near Frid and Main Street, and that's when police allege the stabbing occurred. So one person is in custody. They believe there are multiple witnesses to this event that they have since interviewed, and the investigation is ongoing. We did hear from the acting detective sergeant out here in Hamilton just a short time ago, and here's some of what she said.
Yesterday, members of the Hamilton Police Service arrested 26-year-old Kyle Dumont MacArthur in Hamilton without incident. MacArthur Dumont made his first court appearance this morning and has been charged with second-degree murder. The investigation remains ongoing.
So there is no word yet by police as to what caused this argument or whether or not the accused and the deceased were known to one another, but one person is in custody. No threat to public safety, of course, police tell us, and the investigation is ongoing. Michelle, I'll send it back to you.
CP24 Steve Ryan live in Hamilton. Thank you. A man arrested by Toronto police in connection with what's been described as a gun-for-hire network has been charged in 2 attempted bank robberies in Niagara region. 18-year-old Jayon Berger is accused of trying to rob a bank in Waynfleet on March 4th and another bank in Pelham on March 11th. A 22-year-old man and a 17-year-old boy were also arrested as part of this investigation. Berger is also facing charges after a business near Islington and Lakeshore was shot at on March 26th, as well as in connection with a shooting in Oakville on March 29th.
A man was taken to hospital after being struck by a vehicle downtown this morning. It happened on Queen Street West near Augusta Avenue just before 5:30 a.m. The man was taken to a local trauma center with serious injuries. The driver involved remained at the scene. The circumstances leading up to the man being struck are still under investigation.
A 43-year-old man and a 12-year-old boy from the U.S. are in hospital with serious injuries following a multi-vehicle crash in Mississauga. This was the scene captured by traffic cameras on the westbound 403 near Mavis Road around 5 p.m. yesterday. OPP say people were standing outside their vehicles following a crash when a third vehicle struck one of the vehicles involved in the initial crash, pushing it into the 2 victims. The man and boy were rushed to hospital while a third person was treated there at the scene. And there was an 8-car crash in Georgina. It happened shortly before 9 a.m. in the area of Morton and Woodbine Avenues. One of the 8 vehicles involved is a snow TO dump truck. A traffic light was also knocked down as a result of this crash. The cause is under investigation. Fortunately, no injuries reported.
3 people have been injured following a fire linked to a lithium-ion battery.
The fire broke out in an apartment where several e-bikes were being stored. CTV's John Musselman has been following this story. He joins us live now with the details. John.
Hi, Michelle. This happened in a residence about 2 blocks from our location here near a fire hall on Dundas and Parliament. This was on George Street, in fact, and fire officials say this is another case of an issue with lithium-ion batteries. And what we're dealing with here was about 10 e-bikes stored in this facility that caught fire. And it's the second or third fire in the last 24 hours, fire officials say, involving the lithium-ion batteries. And there's a real concern here. Toronto Fire Chief Jim Jessop is saying that we need some regulatory changes. He wants to work with the Ontario Fire Marshal and the federal government. He says the concern is a lot of these batteries that are coming into the country aren't regulated for safety issues, and that's what's causing a big problem. We had a chance to speak with him this morning. Here's what he had to say.
The primary batteries that we are seeing causing this exponential growth in fires in our city are those batteries that do not meet a standard, that are aftermarket batteries and are quite often either damaged They're either altered. We have seen this very frequently where individuals try to supercharge them or alter them to get a faster charge. These are the ones that are causing us problems. And to your point, it's not just the citizens. It's the responding firefighters, paramedics, and police officers that are being put at exponential risk as well.
Now, Jessop went on to say, look, he's not trying to ban e-bikes. He knows that they're not going away, but he does want to work with all levels of government to provide better safety when we're dealing with these batteries. Reporting live, I'm John Musselman. I'll send it back to you.
Thank you, John. And still to come on CTV News at noon, wildfires continue to burn across British Columbia. We'll have the very latest on the firefighting and evacuation efforts a little later in the newscast.
Drivers are feeling more pain at the pumps following a price spike overnight. Gas prices went up 6 cents to an average of just under $1.69 a liter at most GTA stations. The cost of diesel also rose 12 cents to just under $2.21 a liter. Dan McTague, president of Canadians for Affordable Energy, says the hike comes as the price of oil is increasing due to the stalled efforts to end the war between the U.S., Israel, and Iran. A partial solar eclipse is set to be visible over the GTA this afternoon.
The eclipse is also coinciding with the annual Perseid meteor shower. CTV's Mike Walker joins us live now with more on these celestial events. It's a busy time, Mike.
Michelle and Pauline, it's a rare double dose of celestial events that will get underway at the bottom of the hour with the partial eclipse. Now, Canada doesn't fall into the path of totality, so this will be nothing like the total eclipse we experienced back in 2024, and it really depends on Mother Nature cooperating as well with rain in the forecast this afternoon. So, if all goes well, at its peak, the moon is expected to cover 8% of the sun here in Toronto. That will happen around 1:40 this afternoon, with the partial eclipse expected to end shortly before 2:30. Around the world, the path of totality covers parts of Greenland, Iceland, and Spain. Now, as you mentioned, the eclipse is coinciding with the annual meteor shower later tonight, which is expected to peak in the early morning hours. The best vantage point, experts say, will be further away from the city lights, and sky watchers could see as many as 100 meteors per hour. Now, we spoke with CTV science and technology expert Dan Riskin on both celestial events and what sky watchers can expect.
So we'll see a little sliver of it taken off. I think this is just a really exciting day for people in Iceland, people in England, people in Spain. A lot of people have traveled to go there and see this. It's a meteor shower. It happens every summer. As the Earth goes through its orbit, it passes through this dirty spot in space. And it's dirty because there's a comet that goes through and drops off debris there every 100 and something years. And so every summer, as we pass through that little cloud of debris, a bunch of that dust gets burnt up in the atmosphere, dust and ice that's just sitting in space waiting for us.
So the partial eclipse is expected to get underway here in Toronto around 12:55 this afternoon. The best vantage points in Canada are actually in Iqaluit and in Newfoundland. And experts warn, if you do plan on checking it out, do not look directly at the sun unless you are looking through a proper sun viewing device or those glasses you may have handy from the total eclipse in 2024, because they say it can still be very dangerous. Reporting live, I'm Mike Walker. Michelle, back to you.
That's a good reminder. I think I have a drawer of those glasses at home. Appreciate it. And certainly when there are cool sights to check out skyward, you hope the weather cooperates and doesn't ruin the view. A live look at the waterfront this afternoon, and it's not looking too bad. The conditions seem okay. Maybe a little cloud there, but Jessica Smith is here to tell us what we're working with to potentially take in these sights.
I don't have the best news. Temperature-wise, it'll be really nice as we head into the afternoon, but I don't know if we're going to get a clear enough sky to be able to see very much. But hey, you know what? You can try your very best. And if you want to maybe hop on a quick flight, you probably won't make it in time to the East Coast or Iqaluit. You probably have a better option of seeing it there. But we're looking at 25 degrees as we head in towards kind of right around the time of the partial eclipse. Mainly cloudy, unfortunately, but a fairly light wind. Nice temperature-wise, so at least some good news there. And as we head in towards the meteor shower, better chance of seeing that this evening if you're closer to the water. We do see some of that cloud cover start to break up as this happens really kind of in the pre-dawn hours. So if you are a night owl, you can take it in. I'll be watching it through my eyelids. So rely on the professionals to take really nice pictures, and I'll check it out in the morning. We are, though, watching for some pop-up showers in and around the GTA, prompting some alerts out towards Guelph. For us, nothing right now, but we are watching for that shower activity a little later on this afternoon. Temperature-wise, a little cooler today, but closer to the seasonal point. And stepping in towards the afternoon, it'll be a little bit messy out there, but overall, not too bad, all things considered. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast. Right now, I'll send things back over to Michelle.
Thank you, Jess. Well, the Natural Resources Minister says this has been Ontario's worst wildfire season on record. This comes as more than 150 fires are still burning across the north. The most recent update from the province says 5 new wildland fires were confirmed in the northwest region by early evening yesterday. 110 fires are burning there, 11 out of control. In the northeast, 2 new fires were located yesterday for a total of 46 active scenes. 2 are considered not under control. Home insurance costs, meantime, are growing across the country as a result of wildfires and other natural disasters.
It's now out of reach or completely unavailable for many people living in high-risk areas. CTV's Adrian Gabriel has the details.
From deadly infernos to dangerous downpours, Canadian communities are being ravaged by climate catastrophes.
Parts of Canada that haven't typically experienced natural disasters are experiencing those.
Flooding remains the primary source of insured losses across the country.
We know from the Insurance Bureau of Canada that approximately 6% of the Canadian housing market is now uninsurable for flood risks. So that's approximately 850,000 homes can no longer get insurance for flooding.
In 2025, flooding caused over $1 billion in insured losses in Canada. In 2024, that number spiked to more than $4 billion. And now Canadians in flood zones aren't just running into issues with insurance companies.
Mortgage providers such as Desjardins Financial, they've stopped offering mortgages in certain high-risk flood zones, such as in Quebec. So when I think of these events, I think of people themselves being impacted.
Alberta has seen the largest increase in homeowner insurance, with premiums climbing more than 390% over the last 20 years. And with the increased frequency of forest fires, insurance rates could creep higher nationwide.
You're seeing wildfires in parts of the country that we are not used to. Newfoundland, Nova Scotia, encroaching to the Metro Vancouver area.
The hard truth is, if you live in an area that's at higher risk and you can still get insurance, prepare to pay more. Adrian Gabriel, CTV News, Toronto.
Environment Canada has launched a new, more targeted warning system for weather events like tornadoes and severe thunderstorms. The new Polygon warning system will allow forecasters to draw a perimeter around the area they think is most likely to be hit. Alerts will then be pushed to people in that specific area. It's an update from the previous system, which would issue broad warnings covering large areas. Forecasters say they hope this will reduce what they call alert fatigue.
The federal government is spending $34 million to help towns and cities cope with climate change. 128 communities across Canada are set to receive the funding. It will go towards 141 climate resilience projects. They include $650,000 for the municipality of Waterloo to fight extreme heat for resident housing and $1 million for flood reduction measures in a Quebec community. The Carney government has also announced $24 million to study how cannabis affects the brain in people of various ages. A consortium of 10 research teams from across the country is being created. It's tasked with establishing scientific evidence about both potential benefits and harms of cannabis. That includes its effects on anxiety, mental health, and brain development in youth and during pregnancy.
An online petition has been created calling for Pete Hoekstra, the U.S. ambassador to Canada, to be kicked out of the country. Nearly 30,000 people have signed the petition, which accuses Hoekstra of making statements that undermine Canada-U.S. relations. It also calls for the ambassador to be declared persona non grata and removed from his posting. The petition is expected to be presented to the House of Commons in the fall.
New trade talks between Canada and the U.S. appear to be gaining traction before a new round of American tariffs on Canadian goods take effect.
Minister, how close are we to a deal?
Bonjour. Hello.
You know we're not going to discuss those things.
Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc and Chief Trade Negotiator Jenny Charette are in Washington, D.C. for the third time in 3 weeks. They met with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer for roughly an hour yesterday. And CTV News has learned Canada and American officials aim to have a layout of a trade deal in front of U.S. President Donald Trump before next Wednesday. That's when new 50% U.S. tariffs are due to take effect on a wide range of Canadian goods. CTV's Scott Hurst has been following the trade talks. He joins us live now with the latest. What is the latest on these ongoing negotiations?
Michelle, good afternoon. We do know that Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc remains in Washington, D.C. today, a day after those meetings with U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer. In that video where you saw our colleague Mike LeCouture trying to pepper the minister with questions and trying to see if we can get more information about the latest updates in the ongoing negotiation with the Trump administration, with trade officials with the Trump administration. But we do know that there are signs that the framework of an agreement with the U.S. could be within reach and then shared with the U.S. president in the next few days before the critical deadline, just 1 week from today, when a new round of punishing tariffs could kick in. Last month, Trump threatened to impose 50% tariffs on $28 billion worth of Canadian imports. Trump targeting Canada for what he calls discriminatory trade policies. And we do know the U.S. president has taken issue with things like the provincial ban on U.S. alcohol and supply management on dairy, just to highlight a pair of trade irritants. So, Michelle, we do know that the Canada-U.S. Trade Minister remains in Washington. We're unaware of any specific or any new face-to-face meetings at this time, but LeBlanc's office also confirms to CTV News that Canada's lead trade negotiator remains in daily contact with her American counterparts, Michelle.
I'd love to know how it's going in those meetings. Well, meanwhile, there is a new poll outlining what Canadians want to see in these negotiations. What does it say?
Of course, so much focus has been on the economic issues, tariff relief, particularly for these sectoral tariffs that are really hitting these Canadian industries hard, like lumber, steel, aluminum, and auto. But a new Nanos poll for CTV News also highlights public safety as an issue Canadians are looking to ensure that negotiators don't lose sight of. As part of a broader border bargain, 9 in 10 Canadians, according to the survey, want the issue of illegal firearm trafficking included as a trade negotiation priority. The cross-border smuggling of firearms does pose a real threat to the safety and security of Canadians. Law enforcement stats continually show a majority of violent gun crimes, not just here in Toronto, but across the country as a whole, are committed with illegal firearms. And Michelle, many of those guns are coming across the border from the United States. So it appears Canadians don't just want our negotiators to focus on the economic side. They want to make sure that negotiators also try to get some sort of public safety agreement with the U.S. as well.
That makes sense. CTV's Scott Hurst live for us in the National Newsroom. Thank you.
Thanks, Michelle.
Now, there is a report, a new one, warning about major job losses on both sides of the border if the Canada-U.S.-Mexico trade agreement is scrapped. According to Oxford Economics, in the UK, Canada could lose more than 100,000 jobs if the deal is terminated. The report also indicates the U.S. would lose more than twice that number of jobs. It goes on to suggest a successful renegotiation would add jobs to the Canadian economy.
In Colombia, the search for survivors has become more desperate as crews race against time following Monday's devastating earthquake. A woman was rescued overnight, 36 hours after being trapped under rubble. The 7.4 magnitude quake killed at least 181 people and left nearly 2,600 others injured in the west of the country. At least 195 people remain missing. The European Union said today it will provide $2.3 million in aid for communities in Colombia hit by the earthquake.
In Spain, military firefighters are battling blazes in a northern region of the country today. The wildfire has forced the evacuation of 170 people and burnt 3,600 hectares so far. Several Spanish regions are under extreme heat alert. In the southwest, crews are fighting a blaze expected to last several days. More than 600 people have had to flee their homes. Temperatures were set to rise to 40 degrees in parts of Spain with a high or very high wildfire risk.
And we turn now to the wildfire situation in British Columbia, where more than 100 fires are burning across the province. CTV's Renee Rogers has been following the wildfire situation, and she joins us live now with the latest. Renee, where are you? And tell us what's the latest happening there.
Hi, Pauline. Well, crews in BC say that they are continuing to battle four of the wildfires of note that are burning in BC, and they continue to burn out of control. Now, one of those fires is the Bald Range wildfire, which perhaps is the most concerning fire at this time. It has already claimed one life. It has destroyed numerous homes, and it has also forced some 20,000 people living on the western shores of Okanagan Lake in BC's southern interior out of their homes. Now, that fire has grown to 178 square kilometers in size, but the BC Wildfire Service says that weather conditions in the coming days could help. Lower temperatures are forecast, an increase in humidity, and possibly a small amount of rain for the Summerland area. But at this time, wind is not on the firefighter side, and that is because there has been a blanket of smoke over Summerland where this Bald Range fire has been burning, and it has essentially been blocking out oxygen. We know that oxygen feeds flames. So the smoke that has been sitting over Summerland has now drifted south, and that is creating concerns for firefighters that more oxygen is going to be able to feed these flames to make that fire bigger. Now, fortunately, more reinforcements are on the way. 102 wildland firefighters from Costa Rica are set to arrive tomorrow. That's in addition to 100 firefighters from Mexico who arrived yesterday. And they're going to need that help, not only with these four wildfires of note, but across the province. There are 104 wildfires burning, with close to half of them burning out of control. So not out of the woods just yet for BC in this wildfire season.
And can you tell us just briefly what is being done to help the evacuees, because there's a lot of them right now?
There sure are 20,000 plus evacuees right now in BC, and the province has actually pre-booked 1,600 hotel rooms for them and 1,000 group lodging spaces, with more on standby if needed. Now, we do know that homes have been lost in that Bald Range wildfire. Although no official numbers have been given, people are waiting to come back to see if they even have a home left for them to return to. And this comes as some tell us they do not have insurance for wildfires on their homes, and the Insurance Bureau of Canada saying that over the past few years, insurance increases have outpaced inflation here in Canada, due to increasing risk posed by natural disasters, including wildfires. It says that we're seeing wildfires burning in places we never have before, with even fires approaching Metro Vancouver. So what they say is that we are all paying for it, and it seems that these higher insurance premiums are becoming the new normal right across Canada, what with all of the natural disasters that we have been seeing increasing over the years.
All right. Thank you so much, Renee. CTV's Renee Rogers reporting on the wildfires in BC. And hundreds of air passengers are stranded in the Sicilian city of Catania today due to volcanic activity at nearby Mount Etna. It's Europe's most active volcano and the continent's largest. Etna attracts hikers and backpackers to its slopes, and the fountains of flames and rivers of lava offer a spectacular view for those who ventured close. The airport will remain closed until at least tomorrow. Another airport elsewhere has also been shut down due to falling volcanic ash.
Newfoundland and Labrador is commonly referred to as the Rock.
Now, residents are using rocks to help spread kindness in their communities. CTV's Garrett Berry has the details.
74, 75, 76, 77.
He's bright, encouraging, and growing fast.
89, 89, 100, 90, 90.
Roscoe started with just 2 painted rocks and a simple message calling on neighbors to pitch in. Now, creator Angela Butler can't believe how far it's spread.
So I'm surprised. And just to hear the kids say they love it, that feels good. It does, yeah.
Some of these young painters.
This one, I painted a rainbow on stripes, but I forgot to add pink. Even that a rainbow doesn't happen. And this one, I just splattered it everywhere.
Part of a nearby summer camp, keeping a close eye on how Roscoe is growing.
We count them, and then we mostly look at them.
How does that make you feel?
Happy.
Happy? Why happy?
Good. I don't know.
It's just happy.
Yeah.
Kindness rocks popped up nearly everywhere during the COVID-19 pandemic, so widespread that groups like Ontario Parks began to ask people to be mindful of the possible environmental impact of adding paint to the landscape. Butler says she hadn't considered any bad side effects when she began this project, and she's still deciding what she'll do with these rocks in the winter months.
There'll be good decorations under the snow.
7-year-old Logan says he'd like to see his painted stones shine a little while longer. Garrett Berry, CTV News in Conception Bay South, Newfoundland and Labrador.
What was it? 238.
A very sweet story. We don't have a ton of sunshine today, but we are very seasonal as we get to this midpoint of our week. So if you do want to spend some time outside, not terrible out there. We'll see a daytime high right around 27. The hot spot right now is Pearson at 27.4. If you're waiting for the eclipse, I don't have great news when it comes to a clear sky, but if you're watching for the meteor shower later on, you might have some better luck. Coming up, I'll have a full look at your long-range forecast, and we'll take a look at your weekend and what you can expect as we head in towards your Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400 from your screen to ours. Text 10400.
The Blue Jays will be looking for a third straight win when they continue their series with the Boston Red Sox tonight.
The team has been slowly making up ground in the playoff race, now sitting just 2.5 games out of the final spot in the American League. Our Sean Lee Thung joins us live now from Rogers Center with more on the team's recent success, and it's nice to see it ain't over till it's over.
That's right, Michelle and Pauline, and it's funny because back on July 22nd, the Toronto Blue Jays were 10 games under 500, a vastly more disappointing season than 2025, where they were something of a surprise, made it to the World Series. High expectations this year had gone absolutely nowhere. The team was injured, their players were underperforming, so the team came into the trade deadline selling off. They traded Kevin Gausman, they traded Dalton Varsho, and then since that time, they've actually done pretty well. Over the last 15 games, the Blue Jays have 10 wins and 5 losses and have climbed back into the wild card race. Now, when I say that, it's a very difficult task for the Blue Jays because they are only 2.5 games out of the last wild card spot. But they would have to leapfrog 5 teams to do so, and they are still in last place in the American League East. But in the last few series, the Jays have shown some success, winning multiple series in a row, being in many games, and seeming to turn it around a little bit. And I talked to some fans today to say, even though this team's in last place, do you think they can still do it?
It's a recency bias, right? Like how they played at the beginning of the season, how it was going then, does not really necessarily reflect how it's going now. So I think they can do it. They seem to be able to find a way every day.
They always seem to be like underdogs. Like they always kind of come back. Last year, the beginning of the season wasn't great, and then they came back and they made it to the World Series. So I think it's that same kind of just like underdog nature of the team that's gonna do it.
There's still hope that they might get in still.
Why is that?
They're on a good streak right now. They just got to keep it going.
I mean, statistically, the odds are low, but I've got faith. I'm a diehard from day one fan. Until we're out, we're not out, and I think we can do it. I think they're going to find a way.
So maybe a long way off before they are repeating like Joe Carter back here, but the hottest team in baseball over the last month has been the Boston Red Sox. The first 2 games of the series the Blue Jays are in now, the Blue Jays have beat the Boston Red Sox twice. They'll be playing Boston again tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll see if they can keep this thing rolling. Reporting live, I'm Sean Lee Thong. Pauline and Michelle, send it back to you.
Thank you, Sean. Yeah, keep it rolling.
Looks like a great day outside there.
It does, although
for now,
potential for severe thunderstorms. There's a watch in place, and we know people are out and about, kids are at camp. So when are we anticipating this?
We're kind of watching this window between basically now and kind of mid-afternoon. So not a wash by any stretch. It's kind of been moving its way from areas towards Guelph, towards the GTA and then kind of in towards us here, kind of late afternoon. So timing-wise, it's a little bit of a wider window, but either way, just be prepared this afternoon. Keep the umbrella handy, especially if kiddos at camp. Weather is brought to you by the Presler Law Firm. Injury lawyers, you don't pay unless they win. We'll keep a close eye on the sky as we head throughout the afternoon. It's busy. Listen, summertime in the city, people are outside. They're doing the most, as they should, because summertime feels so short here in the city of Toronto and really in the entire country. So get out and enjoy it while you can, but do it safely. And again, keeping an eye on those alert systems as they have changed and keep you updated more specifically for your area. But right now we have a watch because we have favorable conditions. So we'll keep an eye on that. But anytime a warning pops up, keep an eye on it. Temperature-wise, right now we're at 27 here in the city, feeling like 32. For the most part, we are close to seasonal, but then you factor in that little bit of a humidex, and it's still a little sticky out there. But we'll see a front make its way through that. We'll kind of slice into that temporarily. In towards our afternoon, right across southern Ontario, in the mid-20 range, still feeling in the upper 20s, low 30s, so there's a little bit of humidity, that stickiness out there as you make your way out the door this afternoon and into the early evening. Overnight, though, fairly close to seasonal right across the board. A few light clouds that will push out, so if you're hoping to see the meteor shower, if you're a night owl and you're going to be up very late, you have a better luck of seeing that than probably the eclipse this afternoon. As far as the showers go, they are very spotty in nature, but again, we've seen some of those watches pop up right across southern Ontario as the system kind of tracks its way across. Moving relatively slowly, but a good idea to always be prepared. We're kind of bookended by two different lows there, but as we make our way into the afternoon, late afternoon, it will push its way out, and we have a pretty nice night ahead of us. So not a wash of a day by any means. Right now, looking at spotty showers in and around the GTA, the heavier showers along the eastern shoreline of Lake Huron, and then as we head into that midpoint of our afternoon, we are under that watch as a kind of general region, but the heavier showers and the thunderstorm activity just east of the downtown core and just west of us. So keep that in mind if you're traveling anywhere this afternoon. But it pushes out into the evening. And again, for all my astronomical friends, my celestial friends, if you want to watch that meteor shower, your better chance of seeing it is overnight tonight. In towards our Thursday, though, a little more sunshine out there, a very seasonal kind of start to our weekend, stepping into your Friday, and a whole lot of sunshine. So we have a beautiful summer forecast, even with a little bit of rain we're expecting as we head throughout our afternoon today. Seasonal-ish. We're close to it. We should be about 26.2, 26.4 degrees. We're just above that through your Wednesday, your Thursday, and your Friday. Spot on as we head in towards Saturday. Not a wash of a weekend on Sunday, so if you're heading maybe to the Indy and you want to spend some time outside, again, not a wash of a weekend, but keep your umbrella handy or any kind of rain gear that you have. But temperature-wise, after a relatively humid and really, really sticky start to our summer, we're getting into a much more seasonal pattern as we step in towards the middle and end of August. Temperature-wise, again, we should be around 26. We get there just in time for Saturday and Sunday. Spotty showers on Sunday. We're looking at it feeling into the low 30s, so despite it being a much more seasonal day, it still feels really, really humid outside. But stepping into next week, we start to see our temperatures moderate just a little bit, and the humidity will still be there, but not quite as much. Hopefully this helps you plan. Pauline, I'll send things back over to you.
All right, thanks so much, Jess.
Thanks.
The Tempo will be looking to snap a 9-game losing streak when they wrap up a road trip against the Dallas Wings tonight.
But out comes Maria Conde. Mabry from deep.
Nice. The team last won a game on July 12th. They're coming off a 107-95 loss to the Atlanta Dream on Monday. Tip-off for tonight's game against the Wings is set for 8 p.m. in Arlington, Texas.
You're watching CTV News at noon. Here's a live shot of Nathan Phillips Square. Feeling a bit cloudy this hour. We're keeping our eye on the sky and lots more to come.
A great date night starts with the right ingredients. Great food, a welcoming atmosphere, and a place worth discovering. Whether it's a first date or a night out with someone special, the perfect table is always waiting. Iron Chef Art and his team bring bold creativity to Toronto. I can't wait to taste what's on the menu. Their first-of-its-kind Thai-focused tasting menu is an experience that goes beyond dinner, offering guests a chance to discover the depth, artistry, and tradition of Thai cuisine through every carefully crafted bite. Ale Cuisine. What was the concept for Savo Thai?
Thai food, very easily associated with quick grab and go, but there's a lot of ingredients, a lot of delicacies that go into each dish. So we want to make sure we're bringing Thai food to the people of Toronto in a proper way while keeping the roots of tradition.
It must be a real badge of honor to have Chef Art, who's a Thai Iron Chef.
I think we're extremely blessed because he brings such great wealth of knowledge as well as different dishes that I've never seen before. So it's really eye-opening for me while he's being able to also bring local ingredients to be able to complete his dish.
I love your menu. So take me through what you have on the table because I cannot wait to try.
100%. So what we have here is the pad see ew with beef short rib. We braise our short rib and then pan-seared. Green curry, we sous vide our chicken breast, marinated in turmeric, and then we pan-seared, so it's gonna be nice and tender. But the two dishes I really want to have you try tonight is our signature, which is our golden lamb curry. So a little bit spice forward.
And very flavorful. I feel the heat, I feel the kick, but it's not overpowering. It goes beautifully with the lamb. Wow.
What we have here is our holy basil stir fry with duck breast, a lot of local ingredients, local mushrooms, and also local shishito peppers to incorporate into the stir fry. This is a khao soi, which is a dish native to northern part of Thailand. The sweet thing about this is that we serve it with dark soy, which is not really seen at any other Thai restaurant. It's actually a delicacy from Chef's grandmother.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Well, to Chef's grandmother.
To Chef's grandmother.
Yay. Cheers. From innovative creations to unforgettable flavors, Savo Thai is bringing a fresh perspective to the Toronto dining scene. The perfect recipe for a night out worth remembering. Full details at cp24.com.
Air Canada shares are sitting at a 5-year high after the company reported its latest results. The top-line numbers from the country's biggest airline show an operating loss of $215 million in the second quarter. The company pointed to a 49% year-over-year increase in fuel costs amid the conflict in the Middle East. At the same time, Air Canada reported record operating revenues of $6.3 billion. Investors also appear to be embracing the $2.5 billion sale of part of the Aeroplan rewards program. That deal was with asset manager Blackstone and a group of pension funds. Meanwhile, grocery and drugstore retailer Metro says it saw a profit of $211 million in the most recent quarter. That was down from $323 million in the same period last year as the strike at a distribution center in Laval, Quebec continues. Metro warned the labor disruption could have significant impacts on its results going forward, with current quarter figures showing sales declines.
Sticking with business, commercial solutions company Miraculous has been sold to an American tech investment firm. The Royal Bank of Canada and BMO Financial Group announced the $2 billion deal with U.S.-based Francisco partners. Miraculous is one of this country's largest commerce solutions providers, helping businesses accept and manage payments. Miraculous CEO James Hicks said gaining access to the global platform offered by Francisco partners will help speed up modernization and growth across small, medium, and enterprise businesses in the Canadian marketplace.
Still to come on CTV News at noon, the success of the summer blockbuster. We'll have more on people returning to theaters in a big way when we return.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Theaters are bustling across North America with blockbusters bringing people back to the movies.
CTV's Heather Wright pulls back the curtain on the success of the summer movie season.
I'm Spider-Man.
Summer blockbusters are shattering records. Spider-Man broke the North American record for an opening weekend, bringing in $360 million U.S. at the box office. While Christopher Nolan's epic The Odyssey has officially become the highest-grossing IMAX release of all time. The two films giving a boost to movie theaters.
It's better if you go to the cinema because there's so many people there. Like you can feel the emotions through the other audience as well.
The North American box office has officially topped $4 billion this summer, according to analytics company Rentrack. The summer season is crucial for theaters, typically representing about 40% of the annual box office.
What is it about the big blockbusters that you makes want to see them in the theater? It's just like more exciting.
This is just the second time post-COVID-19 pandemic that North American summer box office numbers have hit the $4 billion mark. It's a benchmark that was routinely hit pre-pandemic.
And the hope for theaters is that this is not just a blip, but rather a sustained return to seeing movies on big screens, devoid of the distractions that come with watching from home.
I think that we are going to see people going back to theaters. I think that it in some way may depend on what movies get released, but there's all these like little ones coming out of left field that are really grabbing people's attention.
And with several more weeks still to go until Labor Day and the end of the summer movie season, insiders anticipate this will be the most profitable summer since 2019. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Heather mentioned the popularity of the most recent Spider-Man movie, and new figures suggest audience interest is still sky high.
What do you think they're looking for?
Oh, see, you stumbled across my board. I'm not one of those weirdos, I swear.
He's a little weird.
There are many metrics to follow, but according to Deadline, Spider-Man Brand New Day will likely surpass the $700 million mark across North America with sales today. As things stand, the sequel starring Tom Holland and Zendaya is also forecasted to be on top of next weekend's box office. It's third in theaters.
Rod Stewart is calling off the remaining dates of his farewell tour as he recovers from heart surgery.
Don't you know each cloud contains hands from heaven?
The Grammy winner had canceled a number of shows in recent days, with one venue saying he'd received a medical procedure. Stewart's representatives say he received a coronary stent, and doctors are pleased with the 81-year-old's recovery. At the same time, they say he's going to take the next 4 weeks to recuperate. And coming back, the cap came back. We'll have more on the safe return of a Windsor baseball player's cap after he lost it on the 401. A baseball player from Windsor thought his cap was gone for good after it flew out of a car window on the 401.
However, a great catch and a remarkable chain of coincidences led to its safe return. CTV's Sanjay Maru has the details.
Baseball has its share of magical moments, but this one happened off the field. It all starts Saturday when Windsor Stars player Brock Whitson and his parents were heading home from Ottawa. The family was driving along Highway 401 when traffic slowed down and they rolled down the windows.
Brock had his hat sitting on top of his golf clubs near the window, which we didn't realize.
When traffic sped up, the cap flew out. Another driver alerted them, but the family could not stop safely.
Brock said, "I just lost my baseball hat that I need for the Nationals that are coming up in New Brunswick in 2 weeks." He was very disappointed.
But what the family did not realize is that a driver traveling behind them had retrieved it, not knowing whose it was. The next day, that man was at the Vollmer complex in LaSalle, where Windsor Stars coach Ron Smith happened to be wearing the same team cap.
And he says, "I like your hat. I've got one just like it." He says, "and I got a number on the back." I said, "What number?" He said, 30. "Where'd you find it?" He said, "on the 401.
Only the team's personalized caps have player numbers, and Smith knew number 30 belonged to Whitson. A hat lost near Cambridge, picked up by someone from LaSalle, who then crossed paths with Whitson's coach.
What's the chances? 1 in a million or zillion? I don't know.
The cap carries extra meaning, honoring the team's late PA announcer, and is the same one Whitson wore as the Stars won the Ontario Championship.
That person that took the time to get the hat and return it, and it's just amazing.
The family wants to thank that person, but the coach says he only got his first name, Mike, the man who made the ultimate catch on the 401, ensuring number 30's ball cap made it home safe. Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Wow.
The coincidences.
That, yeah.
One in a zillion.
That player should buy a lottery ticket next,
Yeah.
like, honestly.
I think that's a lucky hat. You got to be wearing that and you'll have a great game.
I love that. I love stories like that. It's always nice when the community comes together to help each other. We'll have to help each other this afternoon because there's some rain on the way. Unfortunate for the eclipse, I don't know if we'll be able to see very much unless you're in the East Coast or maybe perhaps you're heading to Spain. But it is going to be, temperature-wise, at least fairly seasonal, so comfortable regardless of the rain coming through. We are watching for it to kind of start to sprinkle its way across over the next couple of hours, but it's gone into the early evening. But we do have severe thunderstorm watches blanketing a good portion of southern Ontario, so be mindful if they do promote themselves to warnings. We're watching all this kind of making its way through, again, very spotty in nature, so heavier in some parts of the GTA than others. So just keep that in mind if you do have outdoor plans or campers this afternoon. Just be wary of that when it comes through. They do come through fast and furious, so just be careful spending time outside. Temperature-wise, though, after such a hot start to the summer through June and July, we've got a little bit of a reprieve. We're much closer to a seasonal point, although you factor in the humidex and it's still quite sticky out there. And despite not having a brilliantly blue sky, we do have a very high UV index, about a 7 or an 8. So keep that in the back of your mind as you plan the day ahead, because you can still get a burn on a cloudy day, my friends. Into the day on Thursday, though, a little more sunshine out there. Friday, I'm looking at you. Saturday, you're my favorite. Sunday, I like you too, but there's a chance of a little bit of rain. So keep that in mind. Not a wash, but if you're going to the Indy or you're doing anything outside, because Toronto is truly the best in the summertime, you've got a great forecast this week, and I'll send it back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Jess. And that is CTV News at noon. Remember, you can get Toronto's breaking news all day long on CP24 and at our website, ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Jessica Smith and the whole team here, have a wonderful afternoon. I'm Michelle Dubé.
And I'm Pauline Chan. Be sure to join us later for CTV News at 5 and 6.